Fantasy Basketball Week 11. This is the Triple Play Fantasy Basketball Show at Triple Play Fantasy. We talk all things fantasy basketball. If it's your first time tuning in with myself, Coach James Lewis, my co-host Jacob Dunn, we try to prepare you for the upcoming NBA Fantasy Week. We go back and forth. We talk about who's hot, under rostered, player free agents, people you need to straight up pick up, waiver wire ads, people to drop, safe pickups, daily streams. Try to just prepare you for anything and all things fantasy basketball. We have officially reached week 11, and by the end of the week, we will have reached a new year. The NBA is in a little bit of disarray due to COVID and protocols. The main players of today might not a bit have been afterthoughts at the beginning of the season, or literally just not on the radar. You have to do a Google search on Max Stras to find out he came from DePaul and he's just a lights out shooter.
Right.
Merry Christmas, Jacob. What are some of your takeaways from yesterday's marquee matchups?
Merry Christmas, James. Yeah, first of all, I love seeing all the Christmas uniforms yesterday. Love it. All right, and second, it was good to see some familiar faces out there who were returning from COVID, like RJ Barrett, Clint Capella, and most of all, Giannis Antetokounmpo. All right, Giannis did freak things, making a comeback on the Boston Celtics yesterday and posting a cool 36 points, 12 rebounds, 5 dimes, and 2 blocks. All right, the freak is back and definitely gave his fantasy managers a Christmas present to remember.
He sure did, and I know both of us own him. And he
Yes.
quickly reminds you why he's the reigning Finals MVP and
That's right.
maybe the best player in the game. As
Oh,
he
yeah.
took over that fourth quarter, and he had 29 in the second half, and it was a Christmas treat
That's right.
to see him out there and actually play against fellow star and Jason Tatum. That was
Yeah.
a great matchup. I thought that the two best teams in basketball today played against each other in the Warriors, in the Suns, and that did not disappoint.
Oh, yeah.
Otto Porter going crazy in the final 2 minutes was awesome for him. It was good to see him, and I mean those were difficult shots. Those were difficult attempts, and
Oh, yeah.
Steph Curry, although he finished with maybe 31 and like 10, he was struggling from the field. I think he was 10 for 27. So
He was.
he needed some help down the stretch. CP did not look great down the stretch. He's either spectacular or sometimes doesn't go in his favor. But I think watching them and then watching the Lakers right after that, I was like, these two teams are just head and shoulders, above the rest of the league.
Oh, heck yeah.
So
Absolutely, man. And Gary Payton did his thing, man. He looked
yeah,
great last
he
night, man.
fits
The
great in the
Warriors are deep.
system. Otto Porter
Mhm.
fits great in the system.
Yeah.
Bielitsa, like just really have
Yeah.
those role guys all tuned in, and Clay's still on the shelf, and Wiseman to come back, but Kuminga looks like
Mhm.
he's finding a role, getting some
20 minutes.
minutes.
Yep.
He got he face smacked by JaVale McGee, and came back, had a wonderful play. Like it was,
Yeah.
he just showed some toughness, and
Yes, he did.
it reminded me of the Shaq and the Full days with McGee. Just like, well, how do you do that? That was a clear technical.
He showed up on Shaqtin' a Fool every single week. That JaVale McGee, man. Hilarious.
He sure did. And my takeaways, just watching the Laker game, using LeBron and the screen actions from like just a basketball standpoint. I love to see that he was posting up
Yeah.
heavy. David Fizdale was running the sideline, as you know. Frank Vogel is out.
Mhm.
The rotations were weird. Dalen Horton-Tucker looked just bad
Yeah.
overall. Russell Westbrook couldn't hit a shot. He went 4 for 20. You probably lost field goal percentage based on that game yesterday.
Yeah.
But
My
it was kind
gosh.
of an eyesore because LeBron was going crazy. He had 39, and he
Mhm.
was 13 points away from Kobe Bryant's number one as far as points on Christmas
Right.
Day, and he clearly passed it. I said a couple weeks ago, he was a leader, but I guess a little premature as far as that's concerned. But those are my couple takeaways. Before we start, I want to give a shout out to everyone tuning in. Since we have made this fantasy pod a 30 minutes or less show, we've had at least 500 views on YouTube. So we're very thankful for that.
Yes.
Halfway point of your fantasy regular season, week 11. A couple of notable games played this week. 2 games for the Pels, 2 games for the Pistons, 2 games for the 76ers. Everyone else in the league is playing 4 or 3 games. 15 teams play 4, 12 teams play 3. So You'll have a disadvantage if you are an Embiid owner, or Caitlin Cunningham owner, but as far as everything else is concerned, kind of getting back into the norm of 4 and 3 weeks.
Yes.
Jacob, we got to
Yes,
talk
sir.
about waivers, streamers, ads, big guys this week. For me, I'm going to start things off, lead off with Eric Bledsoe, with the news that Paul George is going to miss some extended time. We've seen Eric Bledsoe, have a little bit of an increase offensively. In the last week, he averaged 14 points.
Yeah.
And he's giving you rebounds and assists, shooting over 50%. So all around, and he's always been good with steals. He's maybe more of a safe pick, but he's somebody that I recommend, give him a look.
Yeah.
He had 19 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists against Sacramento on the 22nd of December. And, a couple weeks before that, he had 4 threes in the game. He had 21 points, 5 rebounds. And again, filling up those stat sheets as far as rebounds and assists are concerned. And Luke Kennard now has a minor injury as well. So, all eyes are on the Clippers. Who's going to step up and give you some of this offensive
Reggie
production?
Jackson.
Reggie Jackson has been really good.
Yes,
ever
but
since the
he's
playoffs
out.
last year. He's out.
He's out with COVID protocols. So Eric Bledsoe is even more of a priority pickup. So that's a good call, Coach.
Yeah, definitely get him for the week.
And then here's this man right here, Terrance Mann. All right, with Reggie Jackson out, just like what we said, and Paul George suffering a torn ligament in his right elbow. He will be reevaluated in 3 to 4 weeks. So Terrance Mann is the man you want to pick up on this Los Angeles Clipper team, other than Bledsoe. If Bledsoe isn't rostered, pick up Bledsoe. But Terrance Mann has started the last 7 games for the Clippers, averaging 11.4 points, 6.4 rebounds, 2.6 dimes while shooting 58% from the field. All right, he's also averaging 35 minutes during that span. So Mann is looking at a lot of run while George is on the shelf. So I would definitely pick him up. I don't know about you, Coach, but I think I would pick up Bledsoe first.
Oh, yep, absolutely. I definitely I like Bledsoe and his trajectory.
Yeah.
For right now, we're all been kind of waiting for Mann to kind of take a step up. He's been on our watch list, but he's kind of a safe pick. These are season stats. Like the stats you mentioned for last week are pretty familiar to Terrance Mann and what he's done this season. Nick Batum just doesn't look his normal self, just coming back from an injury as well. And with Paul George on the shelf, and they're going to look at it again in 4 weeks. If they start falling out of playoff contention, they might just, call it a season and put them, have him get the surgery and have him out for the year. So the Clippers are in disarray, and injuries have depleted them. Now, injuries have also promoted other players to step up, and the biggest pickup this week outside of Kemba Walker was Max Stras. So I'll let you take it away.
Yes, sir. Max Struss, man, he has been a man on a mission. All right, especially over the last 4 games. He's been averaging 25 points and 6 boards, 5.3 threes. All right. Earlier, I recommended him as a 3-point streamer because he has been lights out beyond the arc, but he's doing a lot more, as you see there. All right. He is averaging 22.7 points, 5.7 boards, 2 assists, and shooting almost 50% from the field, 4 threes a game. And you can expect that to continue as long as Jimmy Butler is out. Now, the impending return of a Jimmy Butler will limit his usage, but he has shown enough that he should see more playing time than Duncan Robinson moving forward. All right.
He's playing better than Duncan Robinson. It's crazy because
so much better.
He's filling that role, but it's crazy how Miami just finds the next player available.
Right.
And I know there are rumors that Jimmy Butler is coming back soon. He might even come back today, this Sunday, December 26th. Caleb Martin's back, though.
Yes, sir.
And what he was doing last month made him a must own in fantasy basketball. So you definitely want to keep your eyes open there. I think Lowry is in the COVID protocols, which opens up minutes and times. But the last time we saw Caleb Martin, he had 28 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, and 6 3-pointers made, 2 steals. So keep your eyes open. But Max Stras is definitely a Sunday stream today at the very least. I streamed him on both of my teams, and we'll see with people coming back whether he keeps that role. But the way he's shooting, I don't see how you can put him on the shelf. He's hitting over 4 threes a game, and he's shooting at a very high percentage. So
Definitely.
Max Strauss, a guy that from DePaul University that you probably never heard of, is out there. And a guy, Omer Yurkseven, who
Yes.
I really loved in college at Georgetown. You give the ball to him on a block, and he would just get it done. He's had 4 straight games of 12 rebounds or more, and
Woo!
Wayne Demon's out. Do you like some? Do you like what Omer Yurkseven is producing out there?
I like it a lot, man. Yurtseven has been coming on, especially over his past 6 games. All right, he's been averaging 7 points, 10 boards, and nearly a steal and block a game. All right. He is mostly, though, as you've been saying, he has been a boards machine. All
Mm-hmm.
right, 4 straight games with 12 boards. All right. This is what you're streaming him for his rebounds. All right. That is what he does well. That is what this Miami Heat team needs. All right. So this is also a guy who dominated the summer league. All right. So if you need those boards with some upside everywhere else, I would definitely give Omer a long look.
Yeah, and he got that contract in the summer league as he was
Right.
producing at a very high level, and it was awesome to see that. And then there goes Miami again, getting an under
Oh,
radar, under
gem.
heralded player to just step up and be a really good player for them. And like you said, rebound machine, and he's still sitting there in like lower 20 minutes a game. And maybe with Dedmon out, you could see him getting some increased PT there.
Yeah.
Now, a guy that's gotten some increased PT, but he still hasn't played more than 24 minutes. That's Kevin Love. He's 65% rostered. Yeah, we kind of stay around 50% or lower, but
Hmm.
right now, it's a time to sell high. Last week's stats, he had 18 points, 12. I mean, this was a 1 game sample size, but he was filling it up, and he's been producing a lot as
Yeah.
of the last month. But it's just a matter of time between Evan Mobley coming back and him just probably going to have an injury. Could be an opportunity. Maybe you get a grabber for Kevin Love, who's power forward center eligible.
Yeah. I mean, he looks healthy, and with Sedai Osman
Yes.
out with the protocols, I mean, he is looking at opportunity. But like you have right there on the graphic, he hasn't played more than 24 minutes. Like, the Cavaliers aren't playing him huge minutes. So I love this sell high take. All right. And if you don't sell high, then stream him when he plays. I just don't like to roster Kevin Love because he doesn't play in the back-to-back games and he'll sit randomly. So and that is maddening. And that's why you do want to sell high. Like, wait for him to have another big game and sell high.
And yeah, and his per 36 minutes are, it's
Yeah.
really good. It's
Yeah.
familiar to what he used to do. Now, maybe my number one pickup for the week is Cam Reddish. Cam
Yeah.
Reddish is playing hot basketball with Trae Young on the sideline.
Yep.
He's had increased usage rate this entire season, and he's been a consistent piece of the offense this year. And
Yeah.
last week alone, he averaged 21 points. He had a crazy game where he had 34, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. He had 6 threes, had 2 blocks against Orlando. He has defensive abilities, but I put a nice little number next to assists because 3.3 assists. He's not somebody that's known to have a high assist rate, but you're showing him increase as a playmaker. And with Bogdanovich just trying to find his stroke, he's shooting you at a field goal percentage as well. He had a 4 for 17 game this week, and he's still trying to find his stride over there. In
Yeah.
Atlanta, I had a stream pick on Dylan Wright yesterday. I hit big time. He had
Yes,
20
sir.
points. But I think Cam Reddish for this week going forward is the must pick up for me as he is shooting guard, small forward eligible, and he hits threes.
Reddish is looking at heavy minutes with Trae Young out and Hunter out. Like before, so he started yesterday's Christmas game. All right, and he got 10 points, 6 boards, 3 assists, and 2 steals. Like you said, he's good on defense. All right, his field goal percentage leaves you wanting, but
Mm-hmm.
but during his previous 2 games that he started before Christmas, he was averaging 26 points, 3.5 assists, 2.5 boards, and a block across 35 minutes per game. So he's looking at heavy minutes. All right. So if your field goal percentage can handle, just like, like a 40% game, which is where he hovers, at 43.1%. If you can handle that field goal percentage and swallow it, he produces everywhere, especially in points and threes and steals and those defensive stats. So I agree, James. He is the top pickup of the week.
Awesome. I'm glad we're in agreements on there. Somebody that's giving heavy minutes,
Yes,
and your
sir.
boy, Darius Bazley, the former
Yes, sir.
representative and filling over there at Under Armour.
That's
What's your
right.
opinion on him grabbing all these rebounds?
It's weird, man, but ever since Darius Bazley shifted to the bench, he's been a lot more efficient. All right. He's averaging 11.3 points, 7.5 rebounds, a three, and a whopping 2.3 blocks per game while shooting 49% from the field. All right. He's shooting well from the field, which is super surprising because he's not a great shooter, but he hucks that ball up because the Thunder needs some scoring. But ever since he shifted to the bench, 4 games ago, he's been extremely efficient, and he's locked in as a key rebuilding piece for this Thunder team. All right.
How good is Gilgeous-Alexander?
Oh
God damn, he
my God.
is so good.
The SGA, man, he's the man. I mean, like the Thunder would be silly to trade him or to even think about trading him. They need to keep him. I'm surprised that the Clippers traded Shy when they did because he is the real deal. He looked like the real deal in his rookie year, like right out of the gate.
Well, they had to do that to get Kawhi and
I
Paul
get it.
George. Yeah, you
I
had to
get it.
do
Just
it,
man.
and it's sad because the
Yeah.
Clippers could really use some Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, but sometimes you got to trade some of those young pieces to
Oh,
get
sure,
the
sure.
superstar. But
But
it is.
yeah, going back to Bazley, he should average somewhere around 25 minutes per game, whether he still comes off the bench or he goes back into the starting lineup. And he looks like he does a lot better with the other team's twos versus starting each game. So he's definitely a flyer ad who should get solid usage moving forward. He also adds those quiet blocks, which is super nice.
Yeah, he's an energy player. He is kind of your ideal guy off the bench, and I know I've been critical on him in the past, but he's playing some good basketball. And when you're getting that many rebounds, he's definitely worth a look.
Yeah.
A guy worth a look still is Gary Harris. Yes,
Mhm.
he's not producing all across the board, but Orlando needs production offensively, and he's shooting the ball. He's giving you, 20, almost 20 points in the last week alone. He's 25% roster, so you can find him in most leagues. Of course,
Mhm.
Suggs is still out. Ross is out. Hampton, like everybody that would fight him for minutes at his position is gone. He does get you steals, and he's shooting 58% in the last week, so he's not going to shoot you out as far as field goal percentage. He's going to give you some points and give you some steals. So he might be worth either a stream for points or maybe even a weekly pickup for Orlando, and a
Yes, sir.
guy that plays the same position that you have your eyes on. He's had up and down season as far as
Yeah.
injuries are concerned, but in his last game he did have 24, and that's Coby White.
Yeah, man. Coby White has always been a lethal shooter, like a lethal scorer, and the Bulls need that. All right, with those riddled injuries and COVID players, and it wasn't that long ago. December 21st, all right, he had 24 points. He shot the ball 15 times and made 5 threes and 5 for 5 from the free throw. All right, so he's been pretty darn efficient, all right, off the bench. Uh, so
If you're taking a
he,
gamble, he's a guy that
yeah,
you could definitely try to
yeah,
give a look, and it could benefit for you for the
yeah, and
week.
Alex Caruso has an injury to his foot. All right, so this is definitely going to give White some more playing time as Caruso is nursing that injury. So I like his scoring. His scoring and his shooting percentage can be a little bit volatile, but I would definitely give him a look if you do need that scoring with those quiet dimes and boards.
And speaking of give a look, and this might just be a shout out, but the Boogie Cousins that returned, he had a
Yeah,
very cool fanboy moment. And he
I
told his
saw that.
security guard, just chill out. You take your job a little too seriously. It was
Yeah,
all, make us all laugh a little bit. But
I
Boogie
love it.
had himself a week, averaging 16 points, turning back the clock a little bit,
Hmm.
8 rebounds, 2 assists. Yes, Giannis was out, Bobby Portis was out, and they both of them returned yesterday. So I don't know if you'll see that production continue. This might be more of a shout out, but he did have 22 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, and then 2 stocks just
Yeah.
this past week. So shout out Boogie. You might want to drop him now, but still, let's give him a
He
shout out.
started yesterday, so that's promising. I don't know if that will continue, but he started. He only got 17 minutes, but you love to see it, and especially in a points league, you want that safe floor of someone who's starting, and he still got 9 points and 8 boards. So he
Yeah,
scored around 20 fantasy points for you, which is solid. He's safe, but I would definitely see what happens next game
absolutely.
before before you consider adding or dropping just to see if he continues to be in the starting lineup.
And what's crazy is we saw Jordan Nwora just go crazy for Milwaukee the past week. He did not play a single minute now
Not a
that
single
Giannis is
minute.
back. It's like, I mean, he was dropping people to the floor. He had a
Right.
22 and 8. I had him last week, and
He's
he was
balling out.
producing very well. And then yesterday just didn't even play. So I got to drop him tomorrow morning. So shout out Jordan Nwora, who benefited from some injuries. But
Right.
yeah, you gotta drop him.
Yep.
People that are safety for sure, guys that should be owned, really, depending on what your lineup looks like. But uh, Deni Advija is having himself a solid second season, and
Mhm.
a guy that was questioned as far as his lateral movements. Defensively, he's been a stalwart. And Coach Unseld says he will stay on the floor. He shows a defensive potential, shutting people down, and he's playing winning basketball.
Love it.
In the last 3 games, he's had top 70 value, and he's only rostered in 21% of leagues, but he's going to get you 30 minutes. He's going to play a lot on this Washington Wizards team. He's giving you 13 points, some rebounds, five rebounds,
Mhm.
2 assists. Look at these numbers, though. The past 3 games, 67 from the floor, 63 from three, 88 from the free throw line, at 1.6 steals, 1 block. Like, I know it's not like wowing you, but
Right.
if you get him for 4 games in a week, though, that's production at a high level. And shout out to this kid who's really stepped up in his second year.
Look at that field goal percentage. I mean, 67%. He's shooting over
Stop it.
60% from three. The free throw. I mean, top 70 value. Talk about a guy who's not going to hurt you in any area, who's actually going to boost every single area. I mean, like he's averaging a triple one over the last week. 1 3, 1.6 steals, 1 block. I love this call, my man. That is an underrated call that could definitely win you next week.
Awesome. Now a guy that is Mr. Super Safety. Now he missed
Yeah.
yesterday because he had a non-COVID related illness, so that hopefully that means he won't be on the shelf too long.
Right.
That's Dorian Finney-Smith, and Lucas missed some time, and he saw some production increases in the last
Mhm.
week. He averaged 18 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 threes. That's the huge number that you want to see when he's hitting his three. He's almost a must known because he has always been
Yeah.
producing with defensive statistics, but
3 and
giving you
D.
3 threes.
Mhm.
Dorian Finney-Smith. You just got to watch, see how long he'll be sick, but these guys should be on right now.
Yes, sir.
And Cameron Johnson, the flame throwing, shooting, big man for your Suns has been just going crazy in the last 2 weeks, and he just seems to not cool off. 14 points. He shoots when he needs to. He doesn't shoot when he doesn't. Like, he just understands his role. And I saw it again last night. He looked very well against that Warriors team, and against OKC on the 23rd of December. He had 21 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 5 3-pointers, and made 2 steals. So getting some rebounds in there and shooting at a 50% clip over 3 threes a game. Cameron Johnson is a safe guy.
Yes, sir.
All right. Player of the week. It's I think that this is a runaway victory, and we shout out Kemba Walker,
Yes, sir.
the
He's back.
man, the myth, the legend. And this number was at like 15% roster. He's now 84%.
Yeah.
So people got hit, but to average 25 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists. He had a triple double on
Woo.
Christmas
Yep.
yesterday. At another game against Washington where he had 44 points and 7 threes, 9 rebounds, 8 assists. Shout out Kemba Walker, we'll see what happens when D Rose and all the other boys that are out for New York come back. But
Right.
I don't think he's gonna be having no Coach DMPs going
No
forward,
way,
playing
man.
like this.
Dude, he is crushing it way too hard, man. He's averaging almost 50 fantasy points per game over the last week. He's absolutely a top 10 player in 9-cat leagues right now, and you got to ride that hot hand. He is just in fuego, my man.
And in a week that a lot of stars are missing, I got in one of my leagues 8 guys that can't play. Like, there's so many games missing. If you picked him up, he definitely could have won you this past Christmas week. And what a
100%.
Christmas gift and blessing Kemba Walker has been to the waivers.
Yes, sir.
and the free agent people that got on top of it when he had that 26-point game in his first game back against the revenge Boston Celtics game. So shout out Kemba Walker as our player of the week. Now we must talk some streamers and our streamer specialist, Jacob Dunn with the Sunday streamers today. If you're watching.
Yes, sir. Look at these Sunday streamers, guys. I know that the matchups are about to begin, so go and make these ads if you need these categories. All right, Gabe Vincent is extremely safe with the points. Then we got Gary Harris. We just talked about getting a lot of usage in Orlando. He is a 3 and D guy. He's going to get you those threes. And then
I think you could agree that Max Strauss could fit in on either one of those categories as well.
Hey, if he is available, I mean, like he is rostered in over 40%. That's why he's not on the list. But if he is available, he is definitely the number one streamer for sure. And then Yurkseven's going to get you those boards. Now, Corey Joseph, guys, breaking news, he just went into COVID protocols. So he is no longer a stream for today or this week. So I would pivot to actually Facundo Campazzo of the Nuggets if you need those assists. And then
Campazzo, I think in the last 6 games, he's had at least 5 assists. So he's definitely
he's been balling out, man. He's been low key. He is a nice ad. And then if you need some swipes, we got Hamidou Diallo, and then blocks. We just talked about Bazley's getting those quiet blocks. So there's your streamers for today, guys. And then we got streamers for next week. All right, look at these guys. They are rostered in less than 30% of Yahoo. We already talked about Bazley. He has 4 games. And then we got Frank Ntilikina. We just talked about Doncic is out due to COVID protocol. So Ntilikina is starting. Yep. And as long as he's starting, he is going to luck into some threes and steals. So if you need those swipes, think about picking him up and streaming him. Then we got Terrance Mann playing 4 games. We got Nicholas Claxton, who came back yesterday for Christmas and got 5 blocks and absolutely posterized LeBron James. All right, so Claxton is feeling good. He's got all the confidence in the world. He only has 3 games, but that doesn't matter. He's going to kill it in blocks. He's going to kill it in points and rebounds and field goal percentage. Then Tristan Thompson's very safe with field goal percentage and boards. We just talked about Facundo Campazzo has been a quiet top 100 contributor over the past week. He's getting you those assists and steals. And then Kayvon Looney is not exciting, but he does get you those boards and some blocks. And then Peyton Pritchard actually had himself a Christmas day yesterday. And Dennis Schroeder is out. So Peyton Pritchard is a quiet, sneaky pickup this week with 4 games. And he is available in about 99% of leagues. And then Diallo, he starts on Wednesday, so you don't have to pick him up unless you're streaming him today until Wednesday. So you can stream Monday and Tuesday and then pick him up for the next 2 games. And then don't pick up Corey Joseph because, again, he's on COVID protocols, which should open the door for Frank Jackson to be a sneaky pickup for scoring this week.
Absolutely, and Frank Jackson not afraid to put it up there.
He's not
when he's given the opportunity. So here we have it, fantasy basketball waivers, week 11. We're a proud member of Fantasy Points Media platform. Please tune into our Triple Play Fantasy podcast every week. We got football, basketball, baseball, all covered. Our Triple Play Fantasy YouTube channel is also dropping content every day. Shout out to the whole team and everybody that likes, subscribe our takes. And we'll see you next week in a new year. We hope you enjoyed your Christmas. We're wishing you a happy new year, and we're trying to take you on the second half of the season come next week, week 12.